Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I am Jen. This is Bookmark by Jen. It is that time of month again where we run through a wrap up of what I read the last month. So we were talking about what I read in June. As a little aside, I'm going to apologize. You may catch little glares. What am I trying to say? You may catch a little bit of a glare from my ring light and the outside. My eyes are just killing me today. So we're working with some glasses today. So that is, I apologize for any glare that we may have, but you know what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some books. So, I just posted my stats on Instagram. What were they, you may ask, if you care to know? Well, I'm going to tell you. I read 7 books in June. One of those being an arc, what do we have? We have a new to me author, a couple new to me authors. We had, I said an arc, we had a new release. Well, a couple new releases, obviously, because an arc. And then, well, we're just going to get into it. So 7 books. But I'm going to tell you, I may have only read 7 books for the month of June, but a banger month. Like, quality books. If every month could be quality like this is why I read, right? So let's start off with the first book that I read, which is Hunter. This is by Dr. Rebecca Sharp. It is the second book in the Ranger Brothers series. Is that what it's called? So this is like a spin if you like Criminal Minds, which obsessed with Criminal Minds, have been obsessed with Criminal Minds since it came out some 21 years ago. Jesus. Okay, well, let's show our age. So this is like, if you like Criminal Minds, her characters are kind of mimicked after like some characteristics of a couple of the characters. It's a romantic suspense. This is a family of men who have been in other of her interconnected series, but this is their series. It's 4 brothers, and it's their story. So Hunter is the second book. Dare I say that I enjoyed this book more than the first one. I really liked the first one, how it set us up for the series, but I think it was very predictable. Not that that's wrong or anything like that, but it wouldn't have been an issue and there wouldn't have been a book if the heroine hadn't have done certain things that she did that was just like, why would you do that? When you've lived the life that you live, why would you do these things? So I really enjoyed this one. Obviously, we met these characters in the first one. We have Hunter and we have Zoe. Zoe has just moved to their small town, and she's hiding. She's hiding from an ex-boyfriend. She's hiding from a stalker, and she just is ready to pick up and move at any moment. She really, really likes Hunter. Hunter really likes her. They've had this connection, but she is very hesitant to start anything because she knows that at any moment her stalker may find her, her ex-boyfriend may find her, and it's time to up and leave again. But Hunter ain't gonna let that happen, especially after some events that happened in the first book. So now Zoe is working for the agency as well as working at a local coffee shop. So she's working for Hunter and his brothers. I really like this one. I like the romantic suspense. I like that I couldn't guess as much as I did in the first one. There was that little aspect of, I mean, you're trying to play sleuth. I mean, I don't know. I always try to play sleuth when I was reading psychological thrillers or just regular thrillers. So romantic suspense, for me, like, I always overanalyze, and sometimes I have to be like, don't try to guess. Just enjoy the book. I don't know. I really enjoyed this one. I especially love the fact that Hunter, because Zoe is in a book club with a couple of the other residents in the small town, and he inserts himself into said book club and then starts reading and then just does like some really, I don't know. I mean, I love a hard-ass man who just gets to know the ins and outs of his heroine, his female, his woman, and is like, just does these really small, like seemingly inconsequential things, but they're like the biggest things. I don't know. I love that. I gave it a 4 stars. It was excellent, which brings us to then a very emotional book. Knew it was going to be emotional. Wasn't prepared for the emotionality of it. And then I read Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. You've heard about it. You've probably seen the controversy around it. I don't think that I really need to get into that here. If you want to have a conversation surrounding that, we can. I think people need to simmer down. Is just my opinion. I think people need to take a breath. You turn on the news and you see a lot of things, and you don't expect to see that in your book. Why wouldn't you see that in books? Books are supposed to portray real life. When you also learn a little bit more about the author that is giving you portrayals of real life in their books, and you still say the things that you say, do the things that you do, I don't know how people can. I think that people need to take a really hard, long look in the mirror. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's talk about releasing 10. And what is Lizzie and Hugh? Oh my God! But do I love Lizzie and Huey? I want to embrace Lizzie, and I want to shelter her. I definitely cried during this. It is very, very emotional. Please check your trigger warnings. There is sexual abuse. There is sexual abuse of a child, of a very young child. Having a child that was not far off from the age that it started with Lizzie, it is heartbreaking to think about. Not to mention everything else. I mean, it doesn't matter if you are 5 years old, if you are 15 years old, or if you are 50 years old. It does not matter. Sexual abuse is sexual abuse, and it is horrific. But it is on page. It is a very powerful story. I think there's really awesome messages in it. We are back with, the solid found family of what is, the Boys of Tommen. I love these characters so much. Taming 7, it kind of set us up for this book. You knew that you were going to get some answers. There is a similar storyline. If you've been around, you may know that I do have some issues with Taming 7. Not my favorite on the list of Boys of Tommen books. Definitely not my favorite. This one is so phenomenal, though. I mean, first off, I love a good redemption arc, but I totally think of Reckless by Elsie Silver in Winter. Such a bitch. And the first one, flawless. You're just like, who the hell is this woman? Get off Summer's back. That's my girl. I'm gonna have her back. I'm gonna become Willa, and I'm gonna go fucking crazy on your ass. But then we get her story, and you're like, I'd be a bitch too. Sure. Lizzie does some crazy things in the Boys of Tommen series. She's that character that you're just like, what is wrong with you? She's that character that antagonizes. She's the character that says things out of character and seemingly out of character. You don't know, because she is a side character in the rest of the books. Especially she goes after Gibbsy certain times, and you're like, back up, because that's my boy. But then you get this story, and the way that Huey was the only one that had her back, the only one that ever really believed her. All I kept saying was where are these parents at? Why are these adults allowing things like this to happen? What is going on? The only thing that I will say is I did not know going into this, because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that we were told after Joey and Aoife's story that everybody else's story was going to be one book. So I went into this thinking this humongoid book that we were going to get to the meat and the potatoes of, especially because we had some questions in Taming 7. There are some questions at the very end. And so getting into this book, we realized, oh, okay, that's why we didn't get those answers. We're going to get the answers on here. We did not. So if you haven't read this, I'm going to let you know that, it ain't over. The story is not over. I mean, by a long shot, it is not over, because I need some redemption here. The things that Lizzie goes through, having a mental disorder at such a young age, and then you're constantly battling with yourself, and to see it firsthand how this poor baby is just battling herself. You don't know what is real and what is the truth. Is your mind playing tricks on you? Do you believe what the adults are saying? Because adults are supposed to always be right, but they don't have all the answers. So I'm just going to tell you that it was extremely emotional. It was a profound story. It is not over. It just cements how amazing of a storyteller Chloe is, how amazing she is as a human being to have gone through so many similar situations as Lizzie. My heart goes out to her. Phenomenal book. I mean, absolute 5 stars, but please, please check your trigger warnings because you're going to need it. And get yourself a box of tissues because you're going to need it. Just saying. So, funny story, after releasing 10, I really wanted to read like somewhat of a palate cleanser. I needed something a little less emotional. Did I do that, you're asking? No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I completely went the opposite, and I just went darker. I read Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. I have been wanting to read this book, and because I had it in my possession, I decided, guess what I'm going to read? So I read Take Me With You, and holy balls. So first off, it is set in the late 1970s, so I mean, you got to think, no social media, no internet, like none of that. None of the things that we have very readily available these days. So, you think back in California, you're right on the cusp. Like a lot of our serial killers, a lot of our stalkers are assaultists. The R word. I don't want to get flagged. Newspapers. That's in news. You got to wait for that shit to come out. You can't just go get it. So that is where we are. We are following Sam and Vesper. Sam stalks, he hunts, and when the time is right, he does his thing, and then he leaves. But he is very inexplicably drawn to Vesper. There is a characteristic about her that really catches his eye. He doesn't know what it is, and I don't think that even like he knows that he's drawn to her for this reason, but he is. And when he goes to do his deed, something happens, and instead of things going horribly, horribly wrong, Vesper says, I'll come with you. Take me with you, but don't do anything else. Take me with you. And so he takes her with him. And that is only just the beginning. He takes her back to his place where he has an abandoned shed out in the woods, which he creates a room for her where he does his thing repeatedly. Think like Stockholm Syndrome. What I loved, though, was Vesper. Vesper, she is a force. Like, I just, she's such a smart little cookie. I love how she kind of handles him and she figures him out just a little bit, or she plays a little bit with him. Like, he totally plays games with her, tortures her in the beginning, and plays a lot of like games and mind games, and just she doesn't know what is going on. But I like that she almost plays games with him just to kind of test the waters. Like, how far can I go? What how far can I lead before something bad happens, and like what could possibly happen? So at the beginning of the book, it even says like it's not a romance, like it is super dark. I wasn't expecting the things that did happen. Like, I just was like, oh shit, I knew that I wanted to read it, but like I didn't. It is so well written though, and I've talked about this. I really love going into certain books blind. I went into this blind. I knew that like I thought, like, I don't, in my head, it was like a stalker, kidnapping kind of thing, and something goes awry, and she says, take me with you, which is kind of about what happened, but I didn't know, like, the logistics of it, and I liked that. I like not knowing when I go into certain books. Most books, I like doing that, especially these types of books. Like, I could not put it down. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book, but you guys, again, like with releasing 10, like I did not mean to just like piggyback on top of that with another book with assault. But I did. And again, it was a really good book. But I also I like getting into the minds of psychopaths and sadists, and just that intrigues me. That is my thriller days. That is my psycho. I mean, like, I went to school for that. That is what I was going to be. In some other life, I am a behavioral analyst. I am watching people's behaviors. but you got to read this book if you haven't. Like, now I understand the hype, but like, it is dark and it is hard to read at times, but like, oh, so, I mean, like, so well written. By the way, this is a special edition cover. It is by Coveted Cover. I will leave the information down below if you are interested in the book box subscription. Let me tell you, I'm really picky about book boxes. I mean, I haven't had any book box subscriptions because I just don't like the way book covers are going these days. Case in point, by me judging books by their covers, I will leave that video, my last video, up in the card and down in the description below if you'd like to take a walk on the wild side with me there. But I don't like the way that they're going nowadays, and I don't see myself spending that type of money, like my hard-earned money, on something that I just am gonna hide on a bookshelf but wanting it because it's a special edition. No, I'm very picky, and I'm very picky when it comes to spending my money. But these covers have been phenomenal. Every single one of them has been amazing, and they're just gorgeous covers. They say something, they tell a story in of itself. Like, the book covers themselves tell the story if you're smart enough to look. So again, I'm going to leave that information down below, and we are going to continue on with my next read. My next book of the month was my ARC for the month, which is Take My Name by Brooke Montgomery. I am a part of her ARC team, so I do get to read her books firsthand, which I absolutely enjoy. And I not only enjoy her books, like, this was the palate cleanser I needed, and I think that's why I went to Take My Name. I keep doing that. That's why I went to Take Me With You after I read Releasing 10, because I was waiting for this, and I had like almost a week in between, and I really needed to read something. Like, I needed to, emotionally, I needed to read something, and I was going to read Take Me With You after I read this, but it just so happened that this is the way that it worked. So my palate cleanser came after the two dark emotional reads, and that is Take My Name by Brooke Montgomery. This is an unfinished advanced copy that I was gifted by Brooke Montgomery, so you can't get this one, but you can get this cover. There are 3 different covers that you can get. This is the first book in a new series, which is Willow Ranch. That's not right. Willow Branch Mountain series. So if you read the Sugarland Creek series, which was small town cowboy-esque, they live on an equestrian ranch. Each family member does something different. It's amazing. I love the way that she has everything just master planned around this. But anyway, if you read the Sugarland Creek, I love the way that she just intertwines everything, and she's got an entire world. I love it, and it's very meticulous. But if you've read that, then you know Willow Branch. They've talked about it in probably at least all of them. It's mentioned, but there are a couple books where they dive into it a little bit more. But these are their cousins. So now we're getting to their family stories. They live in Tennessee. They live in the mountains, and they own a mountain resort. So think like spa. So I'm going to go into, I also got with this book like a PR box from her. So we'll talk about that in a minute, because like, she went above and beyond on this PR box. So, I mean, if you're interested, I will share with you what I got. But we're going to talk about Maisie and Warren. So this was a little interesting because they are married, but they're estranged. They haven't been together for 7 years. Maisie had really high and big dreams of being a literary agent, and to do that, she just felt like, I can't do that here in this small town. Like, I have to make a name for myself. I need to move to New York. Like, I have to be where the authors are. I have to be where the agencies are. I have to put a name out for myself and network, and all fine and dandy, but they had dreams, they had, a whole life planned, and she never came back. Well, now she's back, and she wants a divorce, and Warren's like, that ain't gonna happen. But what is gonna happen is you're gonna give me 7 dates, and if you still want a divorce after those 7 dates, then I'll give it to you, but I'm gonna make it real, real hard for you and not to want a divorce, because I know you better than you think I do. I know you better than you know you. You need to go back to your hometown roots. And yes, it's been 7 years, but you're still my girl. And so It was great. I gave this one a 4 stars. It was so fun. I absolutely loved it. And then I got this really cute PR box by Brooke Montgomery, and I mean, like, Jesus, the things that she sent in here are just crazy. One of them being, so it was Well Read Candle Company, which, you know, like, their candles are not cheap. Made her a candle, which kind of got a little melted in the sun, but it still smells really good, and it just reminds me of the spa. I actually used to work in a spa, and she did the damn thing for sure. I mean, like, there's a ton of stuff in here, like bath bomb, lip balm, tissues, soap, mask, eye mask. I mean, like, I'm taking this on vacation with me and doing a little pamper day for sure. And then I've got, what did she get in here? What else am I missing? There is a bookmark. There's a couple bookmarks around here. Some bookish stickers. One of them, well, they're fun. They're dirty. This cute little charm. I don't know if you can see a little cowboy boots. I thought this would be really cute to hang around my, like, small town cowboy books. A little pin here. I don't know. You're probably not going to see that, but it just says, in a really good place right now. In my book, of course. Not mentally. True. True, true. A pen with some hand sanitizer. A marker. Some annotating tags, which go, I mean, really great with the book, right? I mean, it's just like purple themed out. Amazing. So, and then the little postcard from Willow Branch, which has like where everything is. I mean, like, she really is meticulous. Even with Sugarland Creek, like, you've got like all of the, where the housing is, like the resort and everything. And then some not suitable for work images, but I can show you a few of them. So, like, these images are in the book as well, but these are the colored versions. Can I show you that one? Yeah. And that cute little scene. I don't think I can show you the rest. No. Well, there's he hitting that from behind. You know, he's having a snack on the back of a truck bed. Definitely can't show you that one either, because they nakey. So, highly recommend that you read Take My Name. If you like small town romance, this was just, she does really good banter, like really good dirty talk. The men are just like, they're gruff, but they're sexy. And it's real good. Next up, I read our buddy read for the month of, what were we in? June? For the month of June, which is Bartered Innocence. I'm going to butcher the name again. This is by B. Sabakin. I can't get it. Jessica keeps telling me how to pronounce it in Shabakin. Is that right? Shabakin? B. Shabakin? I don't know. She keeps, and I keep forgetting. So I apologize. I'm going to leave the live and a card and down below so you can go and check that out if you want. But this is your, like, mafia, arranged marriage. I think it's the first book in the series. So this is between Isabel and Ryan. Isabel is a part of, well, she's not really even a part, but her family is Italian. They have an Italian restaurant. They're entwined in the Italian New York mafia, whereas Ryan is part of the Irish mafia. And there's like 3 territories, and to, you know, how they merge families, Isabel and Ryan are to be married. However, before she finds out who she's going to marry, she finds out that she's put in like a pool of her name is available for somebody to be arranged to get married to her. And, you know, in the mafia, whenever you're going to be given to somebody, they prefer you to be pure. And Isabel says, well, the joke's on you. I just won't be pure. So she goes out, she finds her a man, and she does the deed to unpurify herself. What she doesn't realize is that she just unpurified herself to the man that she's going to marry. But she just thought it was going to be a one-night stand and, like, I will never see this man again. But Ryan is like, nah, you're going to see me all the time. So they end up getting married. She moves into the house, and he's got a really interesting relationship with his men. Isabel is used to seeing what the Italian mafia does, and you can tell that the author is setting up for other books, and we talked about that in our live, because there's just a lot of things going on, and I think that those things are going to be answered in other books. And I went in knowing that this is an interconnected series, and especially the first book, like, there is a lot of information in the first book, and then things start to make sense in the subsequent books if you read those. But I really enjoyed Ryan. Isabel, yes, could irritate me a little bit because she was just like stuck on one avenue. Like, that's all she kept thinking about was this one avenue and like would not drop it. And if you're in this environment, like, you know that there's reasons why you can't do certain things. Like, you should not have to have it explained to you. You're in this lifestyle. But Ryan is like really, like, she goes into this marriage thinking, and he has a bad reputation. Like, his men have a bad reputation, as they should. Like, they're mafia. Like, you can't be soft. You want people to fear you. You want to have made a name for yourself, but the name that they've made for themselves and who they actually are two different things behind closed doors. And I just really enjoyed watching that relationship unfold, and then seeing her see that softer side of him. If you watch the live, you'll see, look, I really enjoyed this. I mean, I read it really fast. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. Like, it had good banter, it had good spice, it had a good story. Yes, there were certain things that were left unanswered, but I expect that from a first book in an interconnected series. I don't remember anything about this book. Like, I had to go back and look at my notes, and my notes were not that great. I couldn't even remember the names. So there's that. I think I read that book really quickly, and I think that I then forgot everything because I was really interested in the next book that I was going to read, which is a new release, and I was really like itching for it. But it was a pre-order, and I was waiting for it to come. So I was like, let me get our buddy read. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish that early. Yay me. Not a good idea. Maybe not a good idea. Not a good idea. Because I was really, really looking forward to reading Trust Me Always by Megan Brandy, especially after the last book. Promise Me Not and me love Mason. Love Baby D. Peyton, I don't know why Peyton is, I feel like it was a love story, and I don't mean this the way that this is going to come out. Don't come for me. It was more of a love story between Mason and Baby D than it was Mason and Peyton. And I don't mean it like that. The way that Mason is with this baby shattered me. Like, it was just the most beautiful thing. That's his baby. Like, yes. Anyway, if you've read it, you know. But I just was like, but I don't like, when you read Noah and Ari's story, like, they are meant for each other. When you read this story, they are meant for each other. Pagan and Mason, like, he wanted a baby. Anyway, so I was really looking forward to this, not only because I love Cam. She's that reasoning that you need sometimes in books, like that friendship reasoning where you're like, I just need, like, this is the way that I'm yelling at a character, and then when the friend comes in and tells the character exactly what you're thinking, and it's like, yes, girl, yes. That was Cam for me. She was that, like, I don't want to say like comic relief, but she's like that perfect girl sidekick. Like, this family that they have is amazing. This is between Brody and Cameron and Alistair. I do not like love triangles, but I do like this series, and I do like Megan Brandy's writing. Go into, I will purposely not read a love triangle because it gives me such anxiety. This one gave me anxiety too. I did get anxiety reading this because I was like, what if she doesn't pick my guy? What if she doesn't pick my guy? I'm not going to give too much into this because, like, I don't want to spoil it. But if you've read the other 2 books, that you'll know Alistair did something to Cameron, and he did her wrong. And so she needs a beat. She needs to figure out what is going on, because Alistair's coming back strong. He knows that he messed up. He wants to rectify what he did. He wants Cameron back. Like, he went after her for all the wrong reasons, and now he wants her for all the right reasons. But she needs a beat. She needs to think. She needs to figure out what she wants. And what better way to do that than to fake date one of your best friends? You know you're not going to get hurt. He's your protector anyway. He's always been your protector. He's a big old player on campus. Why not date your best friend? And so her and Brody enter this like fake dating relationship. And it's so good. Like, I'm also going to say, like, with Brady, have I been saying Brody? Jesus Christ. I can't even remember. Okay. I know that his name's Brady. I have it written down, Brady. And I keep saying Brody. Jennifer. Okay. I'm not going to go back and edit any of that. Like, just know that I'm talking about Brady. This is between Brady and Cameron and Alistair. Why was I saying Brody? Jennifer. Okay. Brady I love. I'm going to tell you that. Love me some Brady. It's not a say you swear, because ain't nobody's going to top my man Noah, but Brady comes real damn close to Noah. Like, but that's all I'm really. I can't tell you more because I don't want to spoil anything for you. I gave this one a 4 stars. It was great. I cannot wait for the next book because we need another book. Like, Chase needs his redemption arc, right? Chase needs a redemption arc because Chase needs to get punched for some. Chase needs a redemption arc. That brings me to my last book of the month. Listen, I'm gonna be completely transparent and honest with you. I technically finished this book on July 1st, but the bulk of it I read in June, so I'm counting it as a June book because I read like 85% of it in June. But I couldn't keep my eyes open any longer to finish it. And so I had to finish it the morning of July 1st. Okay? There's not much that I'm going to be able to tell you about this because this is one of those times where I went in blindly. It is a trilogy. It leaves off on a cliffhanger. They are chunky, which is probably why I've been waiting to read these damn books. But there's also another reason why I'm reading, and that's between me and why I'm reading it. Anyway, I highly recommend, if at all possible, to go into this trilogy not knowing anything. Like, I mean, I legitimately didn't know anything other than where it was set. That's it. Like, that's literally all I knew. And that it was going to be a why choose, which I do not like. I typically don't like. Like, I will read something else if it's between a why choose and something else. Like, I'm probably, because, like, that also is like a love triangle for me. But, like, sometimes, way more than a love triangle because there's more than 3 people. Again, it's like, but I typically like one. You can choose. You should choose. Just choose. I've started reading the Frozen Fate trilogy. So I started with The Hills of Shivers and Shadows. Don't mind my horrible annotating tabs here. I don't normally annotate like this, but I had to make notes and where things happen in the book and everything like that, so they will be removed. But anyway, somebody needed to warn me about these books. Again, I mean, I'm glad that they didn't because I needed to go in blindly. But somebody should warn me about these books because, like, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything. I honestly believe if you haven't read anything, if you don't even know about these books, like, hopefully, like, you don't know too much, but, like, go into it blindly. So I'm not going to be the one to tell you anything about this. This has multiple POVs. So we have Frankie, we have our girl, and then we have Denver, we have Leonid, Leo, Kodiak, Cody, and we have Wolfson, Wolf. Frankie is on a remote, deserted Alaskan island with these 4 men, and that's it. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all you should know, because that's all I knew going into it, and I didn't even know that. I knew that she was in Alaska. It was remote. And there was multiple men. That's what I knew. The amount of WTF moments, the amount of screaming I did, like, I mean, I remember being, like, nearing the 200-page mark and just screaming at the book, what does that mean? There's, like, little crumbs, and you're trying to piece it together. Is it speculation? Is there any truth to this? What is happening? What does that mean? What is going on? And what is going on is, like, further, I did not expect that. There's one thing that I did anticipate, and it came about, like, literally at the last pages of the book, and I was like, knew that, saw that coming. So, like, kudos to me for that, but it had nothing to do with like the main plot twist. It had nothing to do with that, but like again, so we've got a romantic suspense, right? There is me sleuthing again. Just, I mean, like, you should see my tabs because I'm like, is this foreshadowing? What does this mean? This sentence right here. This sentence has to be a crumb. Like, it's tabs of crumbs. It's crazy. I haven't started the next book, which is Cage of Ice and Echoes. I'm about to start it, but I wanted to film this first before I start this. I don't, I, I'm almost scared to start it because it's emotional. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, but it's crazy. And I think that if you haven't read it, if you've heard that it's good, it's amazing. I mean, it's Pam fucking Godwin. I mean, it's amazing. But you should go in blind. Go in blind and have the WTF moments. Like that is reading to me. Do you know what I mean? Like that is Pam Godwin is a goddess. Like she's a goddess. She can write a damn book. Her mind, I mean, like I know that she built this world for herself. Like she took many years and created this world and then wrote all these books together, right? So, I mean, I specifically waited for all of them to become available because I didn't want to have to wait, even though I praise her for like writing them the way that she did so that everybody had like a month in between. But I mean, knowing what I know now just from the first book, I mean, I know that the second book's going to leave off on a cliffhanger too, but guess what? I had that. But knowing what I know in the first book, having to have waited a month or however long, right, there's no way. There's no way. It's at 5 stars. Okay. I can only imagine. Like the way that I'm at a loss for words. So literally, June was a bang up month. Like I ended on a cliff, okay, but just a banger of a month. I mean, just amazing books, emotional books, fun books, dark books I read, but it just the quality was there this month, and like that means everything to me because like my goal for this whole year was quality over quantity. That doesn't mean that I've read some shit books this year. I have, but this month was really good. So I'm hoping next month is going to be just as good. I mean, I'm already starting off with some really good books, right? So there's that. All right, so I'm going to end this. I don't know however long this was. I just went a little crazy, didn't I? Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this. What did you read in June? Give me all the information. I'm going to catch you on my next video. What is that next video going to be? I don't know. I have a few ideas, but if there's anything that you're interested in, leave them in the comments down below, or just tell me what you're reading now, and I will catch you on my next video. But until then, happy reading. Bye.